Okay, ready.
Hello, welcome to the show. We're so happy to be here with you guys. Sorry, we're a little bit behind. We had some technical boo-boos going on, so it's all good now. We're here. How's everybody doing? It's so good to see everyone. We've been offline for a while, and honestly, most of it's my fault. I'm not gonna lie. I either had something to do, or we had something to do one week or next week or whatever. So the fun part is that we do actually have a guest today. We've got a guest lined up for a couple weeks from now. We've got next week's show. We're all excited, so we are back, and yay. Hopefully with a little bit more consistency, but yeah, we had a whole bunch of stuff going on, and we just unfortunately, it fell on a Sunday. What do you do? It's all you can do. How's everyone? Lynda, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. I had so much happen in the last little while, not paranormally particularly, though I did have a little visitor. I was telling you backstage in my bedroom, which is always a really fun experience. But anyway, but no, things are great. I was not feeling well for a little while, but everybody in the house was sick. But now we're all back, so that's good. But well, Trevor, we haven't seen you in so long. How are you?
Oh, I'm still here, still living. So this is a busy time of year for us. I have a senior graduating high school, so there's been a lot of final plays and final orchestra concerts and this and that, and we got graduation coming up, and then one of my boys has been traveling for soccer, and we've been doing that. The Western Idaho Paranormal team, we've been busy with doing public investigations and things like that. This last month we had the 5-day investigation with Peter Wren and his team out in Gidding, Idaho. We got a public investigation coming up this weekend. Yeah. So, and to top it off, today's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day.
But what about you, Kathy? I know you're always busy.
Yeah, so I got two things. So first of all, everything is really good. But my son made the dean's list for university. So for his first year of university, yay!
Congratulations.
He had nearly a perfect GPA, so I'm all excited for that. I was especially with the one class that he didn't do so great in. Well, he did okay. He did, he got through it, was physics. But it's funny because he's minoring in math in university. Math, he does great, like regular math and, all of that. But the physics is like, that's a whole different concept of crap. But he got through it. He's happy, he never has to take it again. And now he can focus on the computers and the math. So, yeah, so he's really, so last night, because we found out that he had made the dean's list, I said, let's go to a movie. We don't go out to movies very often. I mean, you have all the streaming shit that you've got, so whatever, we just don't go to a movie, but there was a movie that I really wanted to see. And I asked him if he wanted to go, and he had heard really good things about it from people. So he decided that we wanted to go. I just want to talk about this for a minute. So we went to go see the movie Sinners. And it's with Michael B. Jordan. He plays a duo part of himself. So he plays a twin, like that, him and a twin. It is a vampire movie. But I'm going to tell you something. I have never raved about a movie like this in my entire life.
Really?
Never once in my entire life have I been so pumped to not only want to see this movie again, but to dive and research all of the history behind this movie. I mean, I don't even like, I can talk about it, but I'll tell you, the more that I talk about it, the more I want to go into tears. It's just so fucking amazing. And there's so much, it goes into such a, like, the movie itself doesn't go into this massive dive, but if you know, or if you start researching about, you know, the old like Mississippi, you know, type of, this is the blues, you know, the era of the blues, Black people were, you know, not obviously in slavery, but they were still segregated, and it really deals with a lot of that Ku Klux Klan, that sort of, you know, energy. And this is just probably, and the Irish descendants as well, so there's a lot of Irish history. But, you know, I kind of went on this deep dive today, and because my son and I left the theater, and there's no, I'm not going to tell, but if anybody has seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about when I say you just want to cheer at the end barn scene, and you're just like, whoa, you know, like that's how you feel. You just want to cheer because of what actions the main character takes, and you're just like, I mean, that's just wiping out shit that, you know what I mean? And I can't, obviously I can't get into it because I don't want to make spoilers for anyone, but you just, like, if you know, you know, right? But when I got home, like last night and then even today, because I could tell, like, there was a lot of history, and the director, I can't the name's on my top of my head, but he directed Black Panther, and honestly, if you have an opportunity to see this movie, go. Just go. Don't hesitate. Just get up and fucking go. We're going to go see it again. I don't know if we're going to see it in the theater again, you know, just because of like, it's expensive, right, to go to a theater. But I'm absolutely going, you know, when it comes up on the Cineplex app or whatever, I'm going to be purchasing it for sure. Like, this is a movie that is worth not only seeing, but it had better win like every bloody Oscar that's out there, because I've never raved about a movie my entire life, ever. Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing.
What was it called?
It's called Sinners.
Sinners.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay,
it's with Michael B. Jordan.
I saw the trailer for it. It looked dark.
Yes, it looked dark. Totally.
It's dark, but it is probably the most intelligent vampire movie ever created, I would have to say.
Cool.
And it goes into more than just vampires. You know what I mean? Again, it's not just about the vampire. I guess it's if that's the best way to explain it. It is horror, so I mean, there is definitely grossness, as long as you can handle some gore. But it's not, you know, Saw gore. You know, like this is gore with a purpose, I guess, is the best way to say it, right? Yes. But it is gore. Go see it.
Okay. All right.
Go see it. All right. Let's introduce our guest.
All right. Well, I'm really pleased to introduce someone who has been a friend of mine for quite a long time. We used to live in the same city, and then she moved very far away. But Zsuzsana Dawson, she is a medium. She is a paranormal investigator. She is a podcaster. She has done all of this nebulous stuff for many years, and I'm thrilled to welcome her to Paranormally Speaking. Hi, Zsuzsana.
Hi, darling. Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you for that beautiful welcome. And I'm delighted to see you, my dear friend, after so long.
Yeah.
And delighted to meet you both, Cathryn and Trevor. It's long time. And I remember the first time I even heard about you, Lynda.
Oh my God, that's forever ago.
It was my I was doing theater reviews at the time. I was a journalist, and I ran into your husband Ralph.
Yes.
At theater, I think you were doing a dress rehearsal for a play
Right.
at the time. And Ralph and I were sitting 2 rows apart or something, and we started talking, and he said, "You would love to meet my wife." Because she's a witchy poo, just like you are. And that's how we met. So
That's funny. That's funny.
I can't
yeah,
imagine what kind of
I'll
things would
never
be
forget
thrown
that.
at me if I said my wife was a witchy poo.
Right?
I just, yeah, that just sounds dangerous.
Right?
Your husband's
No,
very brave,
well,
Lynda.
yeah, it could be, but yeah, it was a start of a beautiful friendship, and I don't think you mind that Ralph said that.
Oh no. Oh
No,
no. After all these years of marriage, like, I'm not surprised he
you
would
just had an anniversary. My God, a big one. Yeah,
39
39.
years. It's a
Yeah,
lot of years.
yeah. God bless you both.
Crazy.
And
That's a long
yes,
time to have to put up with
I know.
somebody. Good
I
I
job.
know.
know.
That's
And I
really
still
good.
like
You
him.
got to be impressed with
I still like him.
Congratulations to you both.
Oh,
Really.
thank you. But I
Oh
have
my
a
God.
question for you. Like, how long have you been interested in all of this stuff that you do? I mean, and how did you first start doing it?
Well, I'll try to make it short. Um, I've been interested in this stuff for probably since I was 15 or 16. Started with maybe an astrology book, something like that. Then, when I was 15, I went to Hungary, which is where my family's from, and my great aunt was a palm reader and a psychic, which I didn't obviously. I was 15. I didn't know what was going on. Anyway, she read my palm at that time, and that fascinated me, and developed from there. I just really became interested in spiritual things and so on. And it was probably in the early 90s when I started studying tarot,
Right.
and I became a professional tarot reader. And you will remember in the 90s, I'm not good at years or decades or anything, but you'll remember I started reading tarot, and then I had my metaphysical store in Keswick, and everything just kind of grew from there. It just, you start picking up this and that and the other thing, and I think everything, like in terms of where I come from with spirituality, it's all about the spiritual growth and so on and so forth, but also um, a concept of what's beyond. So that leads you into the paranormal. So it's all connected. Spirit, spirituality, and everything is, to me, it's all one, and that's it's two different things, but it's two connected things, I think. So
Mhm.
I think it's all an exploration of who we are here, what's beyond, and that leads into the paranormal too. It all, to me, it all ties in together. Yeah. So I love the paranormal. It's one of my favorite parts of exploring spirituality and spirit.
Do you work on a team, or when you work with the paranormal or deal with the paranormal, is this on an individual basis mostly, or?
I did have a team back when I was in Lynda's neck of the woods. I did have a team. We did a lot, like a ton of paranormal investigations, both in private homes and in some really well-known locations. We did the automotive museum, Canadian automotive museum. We did
Okay.
the Regent Theater in Oshawa, which was amazing. Um, a lot of more, how should I put it, um, public places, as well as a lot of private homes and so on. So I'm not doing that much of that now, because I'm not in that area anymore, and I had another career at the same time. So I'm not doing a lot of investigation, but I have a lot of personal experience now as well. So it's a fascinating journey, really, to be able to. Yes, so I did a lot of high profile kind of investigation, and now I'm just living with it. So, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
What would you say is your favorite thing to do? I mean, would you describe yourself as more of a psychic medium doing tarot, or I mean, what's your thing that you're doing most of now?
I used to do tarot, yes, professionally. And I remember at one time somebody told me, it was a psychic medium actually, that said to me, one of these days you're going to do readings without your cards. And I went, what does that mean? I don't get it. I don't know how to do readings without my cards. And then all of a sudden I started doing mediumship readings without knowing what I was doing,
Wow.
really. And just for friends online and so on. And I just said, well, let me just kind of tune in and see what's happening. And I would just jot down stuff and so on. And one day I realized, oh, it's
This is what she was
mediumship.
talking about.
Yes, exactly. So I get it. And so a couple of years ago, I did 2 really in-depth mediumship training courses with 2 very renowned mediums. And what I got from that is that really interesting tips and tricks, but no, that's really derogatory to say it that way. Really interesting information about how other people do mediumship, but I still do it my own way. I just I have a condition actually called aphantasia, which means I don't visualize at all.
Oh,
Okay.
It's about 3% of the population has it. A lot of people don't even know they have it. So I have no, I don't visualize anything like that, but I get my information through concept. So when I say I'm going to read for somebody, I'll just take a quiet minute. I don't meditate. I don't do any of that stuff. I have no patience with that, actually. So I'll just sit there and say, okay, what's going on? And I just get all the information. I jot it down. And it's, again, it's not visual. It's not anything I hear, but it's very accurate. So I really, really enjoy doing that.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, it's not the way most people do it. But I love it. I love doing that. Somebody will just come to me and say, give me some information about something or whatever. And I will just sit here for a minute and just start jotting notes down. So I'm not seeing spirits, but I know that they're there. It's so cool. You just
Do you
kind of
feel like
know
the
that
spirit
they're
is channeling through you in order, like, for your notes?
there. I'm not even sure if it's coming through me. It's kind of like I just say, who's there? Who are you? And what can you tell me? And it's more like words
Okay.
and a concept and so on. And I was just talking about this the other day because a friend of mine had said, she has some issues going on, and she was asking me about. I can't even remember what it was, and I just said, okay, I'm not going to do a reading for you, but let me just see what comes through. And I got a vision of, among other things, so I got a vision of her deceased father patting her head when she was a child, patting her head and saying, "Oh, my little princess," or "my beautiful little princess," or whatever, and with along with other information. And when I repeated that to her, she said, "Yeah, he did. He used to do that. He used to pat my head and say that kind of thing to me." And so, yeah, it's a different kind of mediumship than the way other people do it. But I find it really, really gratifying when, these things come through for people, because it's so helpful to people. That's what I love about it. When you can give somebody reassurance about people on the other side. There's this, I do kind of like mini platform readings online too, just for people. I'll just say, put your name on my page or whatever if you want a reading. And it's kind of like boom, 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 boom. This information, that information, and whatever comes through. And then people will say, yeah, that's my dad. That was my brother. That was my son, that kind of thing. So what can be more beautiful than that? Then you can connect people with their loved ones on the other side. And again, I'm not seeing them. I'm not hearing them in my ear, but I can give that information. This is what happened. This is what they wore. This is what they're saying to you now, and so on. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. Have you been doing that a long time? Like, do you have a regular practice with clients, or do you just mostly just do it online, like you said, like a mini?
Yeah, I've mostly been doing it online because so I also have a YouTube channel which I'm trying to build, and my hope for that is that I'll be able to just offer free platform readings online.
Wow.
For
So anyone watching, we did put her YouTube channel in the description box of the show.
Thank you.
So all of Zsuzsana's information is down there if you guys want to click and connect with her and everything too. So yeah.
Thank you. And
yeah, hopefully we'll get you some subscribers.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well actually, considering that I haven't had a lot of time really to work on the community, but I'm hoping that as it grows, that's exactly what I'll be able to do, is just to have a big enough community there that I can just do this gratis. You know what I mean? Just to have the involvement and the subscribership, to just be able to put this out like once a month or once every 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing a platform reading. So you know what a platform reading is, right? Everybody, it's kind of like those guys that go out on stage and say, "Oh, I'm getting so and so."
Oh, okay,
from
right.
the audience,
like a soul reading.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, kind of like, do you remember John Edwards, you guys?
I was thinking like John Edwards, yeah.
Yeah. And now there's another one. I think his name is Matt Fraser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Younger guy, a newer generation of John Edwards, who does the same thing. Like, he'll go out and he'll say, I've got a message for you and for you and for you, that kind of thing. So it's kind of that, except online. Yeah. So give me your names or whatever, or just be part of the community. And then I can just say, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting a man in a fedora hat, and he's wearing a red jacket, and he's got a cane. He's coming and saying so and so, and then somebody has to claim that basically and say, "I know who that is." So I love doing that. Yeah. That's the idea. That's the idea.
Would it be putting you on the spot to do that now? You don't have to. I was just one of those things that.
It probably wouldn't be putting me on the spot. So just give me a second, because I don't have to meditate to do this or anything. Okay, this may not be so brilliant. Okay, who am I reading for? Anybody here?
Whoever comes in.
Hang on.
You can read for me. I'll take it.
Okay. So who's got the little fluffy small dog?
Oh my gosh, that could be my mother.
Your mother? Okay.
Yeah. It could be my dog, but she's fluffy, but she's not super small.
Is she right?
She's not small.
She's not that. I mean, she's small, but she's like.
Okay, it's not tiny small. And then it's like, I don't know, 20 pounds dog or 25-pound dog. Somebody has with a little bit of beige in it. Getting back to the mother, Cathryn, is she passed?
Yeah.
Okay. Did she wear like suit, not suit, lady suits, like a jacket and a skirt kind of thing?
She might have when she was younger, but not the last few years, I guess.
Okay. And I'm talking about like in her 30s, 40s.
Yeah. She was very, very, very always very well dressed.
That's what I'm seeing. Okay. Why is she telling me the word coronet? Like a something you would wear on your head, or something that sounds like coronet.
That I don't know. She never really wore hats or anything like that. She was,
Okay, maybe she's saying that to you, that you should have a coronet.
I don't know.
And she's showing me ribbons. Like, I don't know what kind of ribbons. I don't know if it's a ribbon with a medallion on it or something. But I you know what? I think she's saying that for you, that you should be wearing a coronet and like a ribbon with a medal.
Oh, I don't. What do you mean by a coronet? Like, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, like a tiara.
Kinda, yeah.
Like a crown.
So I used to do Hawaiian dancing.
There we go.
And I actually won a lot of medals doing Hawaiian dancing.
Okay. There we go.
So that's the only thing I could think of, because we used to wear great big head things.
Something around your head and a medal. A ribbon with a medal on it.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
go. Like a
That's
small crown.
so cool.
I had to look up the definition of coronet. It's a small crown.
Yeah, I don't. She never called. I mean, they were just headdresses, right? Like they were.
Yes.
A crown.
That's your mom. That's your mom saying hello to you.
Okay, cool. That is so cool.
On Mother's Day, no less.
On Mother's Day. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, that was like when we were little kids, but not little kids, but I danced professionally a little bit later on, but for the most part, we were just competing a lot of times. And so
that's what I was getting. I was getting the thing with the medal and the thing around the head.
Yeah. It was more like a big headdress, I guess, like that. I don't know if you've ever seen the Tahitian dancing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Where does the information come from? Like, how when Kathy said, does the information come through you? And I mean, obviously,
and thank you, by the way. Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
But where
welcome.
do you think it comes from? Like, do you feel that you have a personal guide or something like that that this might come from? Or is this
No,
just no? Wow,
I
that's
fired all my
interesting.
guides like 20 years ago, and they're not around anymore. No. Um, you know what? I don't really know where it comes from. Again, because I'm not visual. I don't see all the stuff or whatever. It must come directly from spirit.
Interesting, right? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Like, there doesn't seem to be, and again, I don't have to meditate. I don't have to do all that stuff or nothing. It's just like boom.
Wow.
And that's why I love it.
Well, I mean,
I have no patience for nonsense like meditating and breath work and all this, whatever, da 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 da, all that stuff. So that's why I love it, because it just comes. I don't know.
wow.
You have to trust. You just have to trust. That goes for everybody.
Well, that's true because Kathy, when you do your readings, I mean, there's a lot of trust involved there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I learned a long time ago is instead of, sometimes whether you're hearing, feeling, smelling, visualizing, however the information is coming to you, a lot of times I used to dismiss it because I'd be like, well, that's crazy, or am I making this up, or whatever, whatever it was.
Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
and so after a while, I just sort of went, okay, I'm seeing this. And I would just pass it on to the person. And
Yeah.
it's not up to me to determine what it means. It was like, okay, this is the information. Here you
Yes.
go.
Yes.
And, if it doesn't resonate with them, well, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been from somebody that they had been around that day. But for the most part, it resonates very strongly with them. And I just have to learn to go with it. And it would be funny
Yes.
because there'd be a lot of times where I would be doubting myself, and in the process of, should I say this or should I not say this, that I'm running through my head, somebody would say, oh, blah blah blah, and it was like, well, why the fuck didn't I say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you realize, I guess I should just learn to maybe spit it out, like, rather than hold it in.
100%, Cathryn. I totally believe exactly what you're saying, and I believe that that's the most accurate, because it just, when it comes through, it's real.
Yeah.
There's no, and oftentimes, not oftentimes, occasionally, people will not pick up on the connection right away if you're
The thing
reading for
is,
somebody else or whatever. But
yeah.
give them a day or two,
Yes.
and then they go, oh yeah, okay.
Well, I found too, and I don't know if this has happened with you or not, but the thing is that it's not really up to us how spirit comes through. And a
Right.
lot of times spirit doesn't really, like, especially if it's somebody that's passed over, they don't want to come in the body or in the visual form that they left their body in, because usually it's not like, nobody wants to say, oh, my eyeball was popping out, or I had guts streaming here if it was a murder victim, or I had this, or I only weighed like 10 pounds because of cancer was eating my body. We don't want to have people remember us as that. We want to
Right.
be remembered when we were in usually a good state of health, or even when we might have been more significant in somebody's life. But a lot of people, they get so stuck in their head that, well, they didn't look like that when they died. Well, no, because they look like a shriveled up acorn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe, they weren't looking like, you know what I mean? But give it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like, go back. Like you said to me about what my mom used to wear. No, she didn't wear those outfits, but she did wear when she was younger. That's exactly how she was dressed.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have to get out of our mindset of the here and now to some degree when people have passed over, and kind of go, oh, okay. Yeah. And a lot of times, I'll say to them, go look at old pictures. And especially if you can visualize, like, if in those pictures, especially if there's somebody else that's, in that picture that you're being shown, right? Like, it'll be like, there might've been a picture with this person and another person, or maybe you and this person. And they'll be like, why, blah, 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 blah. Okay, because it wasn't yesterday, right? And I'll be like, go and look. And then there, sure enough, there they
Exactly.
are. Yeah.
Exactly. This is what I find too. And you're 100% right about that. So when you're on the other side too, time is fluid. It's not going to be exactly the same as here. People are not going to necessarily present themselves in the same era necessarily that you remember them, but there are enough touch points when they, like when I get people from the other side, they may be, like you said, wearing something from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but that is something that you can still relate to now. If the recipient is open to that and understands that. So it's really the recipient. There's a lot of onus on them too,
Absolutely.
to be able to understand. And like you said, and this happens a lot too. Yeah, with clothing, especially. I think
I had this one guy come in, and I did a reading for, not really a reading. He was a friend of mine, and he asked, "Is there anybody around me?" And I said, "There's a lady behind you that's wearing a gingham apron." And I said, "I hear the name gingham, like the word gingham."
Yeah.
But she put a long braid, like, on the one side of her head, a long braid. And I keep hearing the letter B, B-E-A. I said, B-E-A, B-E-A.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was like, no, nobody I know, no. Went home and decided to talk to his mom about it. Well, that was his grandma, her mom. She used to make gingham aprons for people in the neighborhood during World War II. That was how she made an income.
Yes,
and her name was Beatrice.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
People just, they have to open their mind. And once they open their mind, or okay, just take the information and go home and sit on it for a little bit.
And sit on it. Exactly. If it doesn't click right away, sit on it for a day or two, and they usually will
come back to you,
figure it out. Yeah.
Actually, it was funny because as soon as you said metal, I was like, I didn't understand what you meant about the head. Like, because I never wore hats. My mom never. We were not a hat family. Maybe my dad might have wore something to be a goofball once in a while, but I was like, I don't understand but as soon as you said metal around the neck, I was like, oh, that, okay, now I understand, because we used to win a lot of medals. Yeah.
This is it, Cathryn. Sometimes, and this is why, and I'm sure you do the same as I do. You have to say the words. You can't be afraid to not say the words, because it sometimes is one word that makes people go, oh, yeah, now it's all making sense. So you just have to speak what you're getting. And then people can translate the information. That's amazing about the apron one. I had a similar one too, and that just makes me smile, because
it's nice when it comes in so strong. What's that, Trevor?
Yeah, I have a question. And this is, I don't know a lot about mediumship and things like that, but you're talking about how you're not a visual person.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're describing clothing, and you're talking about, that they're showing you things. What am I missing here? How is not being visual, but kind of sounds like you're seeing?
Yeah, that's a big can of worms. Big topic. If anybody's interested in this, just look up on Google or whatever, aphantasia. So it means basically, you can't, well, I have global aphantasia, which means I don't hear, don't see, don't, like, nothing, but we can still have a concept. You can have a concept without seeing it in your head. So if I picture, like, not picture, again, this is a bad word, but if I sense a grandfather walking into a kitchen and having a certain attitude or something. I don't see it, but I know what that might look like.
Okay.
Like everybody knows what that would look like, right? So it's a concept, not a visualization.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as I said, it's it's a very complex. It's a neurodivergence kind of thing,
Yes.
but I think it doesn't hinder me at all, because I can still tell you, even though I don't see it, but I know if I'm seeing. I've done so many readings for people, and I don't have to see what it is, but I can describe it anyway. I did a reading a while ago, and it was two brothers living in a basement apartment, and they had an aquarium, and so on and so forth. And without seeing it, but I know what that might look like, so I've got the concept of it, so I can express it in words without having to see it. So yeah, it's kind of kooky. I know.
It's interesting. Well, because, and the other part of it too is, I mean, coronet is not a common term.
I know.
It's not something that this,
where that came from.
Well, and that's kind of one of the things too is, I think that, there's mediums that are the real deal and things like that. And I think there are some people that get readings that are like, what? And it's just simply a gap in vocabulary. And that, they're seeing certain things and you are describing it the way that you are understanding it. But that person may not know what a coronet is, or, and things like that. Or they, you were thinking it's this and it's something similar, but instead it's a wreathed head dressing,
Right.
type thing. Or, do you, for Kathy or Zsuzsana, do you ever, find people that are just difficult to get readings for?
Go ahead.
And I feel like, and I ask because I feel like I'm one of those people.
So my very first, this is interesting because one of my very first, I wouldn't say clients, you know what I mean? Because I've been doing readings for a while, but when I started really doing my business in my house, one of my very first clients, and she's still a client today. I'm just going to say, I don't want to put her name out there, but if she's watching, love you dearly. She came to my home, and when she sat down, so I do use tarot, but I use tarot as a visual. The reason I use tarot is because I tend to, I guess the best way to say it is I can end up going into like a rabbit hole or a deep dive, and not everybody wants to have that information that I might be pulling out. Like it has no meaning to what it is that they're there to find out or to, come to me about. And so I use tarot to keep me balanced, I guess is the best. They don't want to hear about when they were two. They want to know about now or the future or whatever, is going on. Like that's what they want. Mm. And so I'll use tarot to kind of keep me balanced. And I had pulled the cards and I started reading and I, she was like, no, that doesn't resonate at all. And I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? So I did it again. And then she was like, no. And then she said, well, maybe I should go, and I was like, I said, what I need you to do is I need you to take these cards and I need you to shuffle them. I need you to shuffle. Normally I do, right? But I said, you need to shuffle the cards. And I realized at that point where she was is her walls were up. Because she was scared of what I was going to say. She was scared of what was going to be figured out. She was scared of what she was going to reveal. And I was like, okay, I'm not getting in because the walls are just too high. And so I said, you shuffle the cards and you take your time shuffling. Doesn't matter to me. And, so she shuffled and as she was shuffling, you could feel the energy. She was feeling more comfortable and, we just chatted and, offered her tea and we just, kind of shoot the shit a little bit, I guess is the best. And then I laid out the cards and I went, you're having an affair. Boom. that, and that was where that's the whole first thing that came through. And she was like, that's what she was hiding.
Wow.
And then after that, it was really hard to get in. Like, it probably took usually my sessions are like an hour. She probably took the first half hour, and I just added to that. But it was, you know what I mean, really hard to get in to that. And
wow, that's creepy.
and once she opened up, then the floodgates can open. You know what I mean? But they have to be in a state where they're acceptable to being read. And a lot of people keep their walls up because they're scared of what is going to be discovered. And to be honest, I mean, unless you're like a serial killer, chances are we don't really care. We're there to help you, not to judge you.
Cathryn, yeah, this is, again, I was reading tarot for countless years, and you come across all kinds of people, and I found it sometimes like draining, like just so draining, trying to convey the messages for so many reasons. Sometimes because people are closed off, other times because they want to hear a certain thing.
Yeah.
Or there's walls up, there's fear, there's all mistrust. People would sometimes be almost like challenging. This is when I was doing it professionally for like tons of people, and it's draining, isn't it? It's hard. It's really, really draining when you don't really know where the other person's at, like what they're willing to accept and what they're not willing to accept. And again, and even I did countless like tarot parties and group things and everything, which is even worse because then you get a wide variety of people, skeptics, people being there for fun, people really, really, really needing a deep answer to something really emotional, and to be able to deal with all that emotional stuff from your clients or the querent, it's hard. It's draining. That's why I like this mediumship stuff, because I'm going, take it or leave it.
Sometimes it's easier to deal with the dead. Right?
Yes,
like it is. It's easier to deal with the dead. Like when you do a good mediumship reading and you're just basically passing along the messages. A lot of my work, I deal with relationships. So the main thing is, what does he feel about me? I'm like, is he going to call me? What does he feel? Well, what's he feeling about me right now? What's he doing right now? Well, I'm not a spy camera, sweetheart. Like, I'm not a security camera inside of this man's house. I don't know what color of underwear he's wearing. I don't care what I'm.
Exactly.
You get this, and people tend to, they have a visual basis of what their concept is of what a psychic or a medium is. And you're just like, okay, like, I don't know how many people he slept with in his life. I don't care. Like, you shouldn't care either. Like, just shut up. Like, who cares? Like, ask him. Ask him. Things
now,
like,
if you want to know how many people he's killed in his life, that might be something important.
Yes. But, people have a different thought process in their head of what psychics and mediums do, and we're not there to be spy cameras. We're not your security camera. We're not your liometer, or what are the lie detector test or any. We're there to help you get to the best place where you can be for you within yourself at that moment.
This is the thing, though, that makes it hard, is because we do care. deeply, like
Of course, yes.
we all have empathy for other people and compassion and everything.
Don't
But
care
when
what color his underwear is, but we care about the people.
exactly, we care about the people, but when they're fixated on certain, this is what they
Yes.
want or
Yeah.
expect from a reading, and you know, it's hard emotionally. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, you don't
yeah.
have a lot of control. So what I'm picking up is if I want to know something specific, that doesn't always come through for you because you. I don't know how that works. If you're somehow communicating with somebody on the other side saying, "Hey, he wants to know this," uh, or is it just you get what you get? And
I get what I get, basically. Now I can go back in afterwards. Like if I tell you, as a matter of fact, I think you have an uncle, somebody around you who's crossed over.
I have a few that have crossed over.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a certain uncle right now. So if I come out to you and say, okay, I'm tuning on this person that looks like this and looks like that and everything, but I'm really getting an uncle around you right now. And if I just throw that out there, say I'm doing a platform reading or whatever online, I'll say, oh, okay, Trevor has an uncle, wants to say this and that and the other thing. And then you come back to me and say, yes, I know who that is, or I think I know who that is. Do you have any more information? I can go back in and connect with that person and give you more information. Um, but the initial communication is kind of not generic, but not so
Seems,
detailed.
I was gonna say it seems kind of like broad,
Yeah, yeah,
and that was one of the things I kind of, when John Edwards was on TV and stuff, and it was all very, very, very broad, which
yes,
of course leads to natural skepticism. It's like,
right,
well, of course somebody's got a father that passed away, or a mother that a
right,
male figure, a female figure,
yes,
things like that.
yes,
And like I've
yeah.
had, I had 3 uncles who passed away.
Was was
So
one of them a fisherman?
I believe 2 of them were
Okay, I'm
very
getting
into
somebody
that
who liked
stuff.
an uncle who liked fishing. And
Hmm.
again, I'm not really in the headspace to do a reading right
No, it's
now.
fine.
But
I'm one
if
of those people that I'm a difficult read, and I don't feel like it's because I have walls up. I just because I genuinely want to be blown away. I am skeptical, but I am not so skeptical that I am not accepting. If that makes sense. So
okay, okay, hook up with me afterwards, and there's an uncle that liked fishing and whatever. I can go into detail for you, but this is what I do when I throw out a platform reading. It'll be fairly brief for everybody, like a paragraph or whatever.
hmm
And then
Yeah.
if somebody says, "Oh, that's so and so," and can you tell me more? I can go back and say and connect with that person and give more information. And
hmm
so, some of it, granted, is how should I say it? Open to interpretation, but most of it is very specific. So they will give,
hmm
just like you said before, the coronet and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
things like that will come through to me. A lot of times, it's words. It's vocabulary, it's expressions, stuff like that. But you definitely have an uncle who liked fishing behind you, and I'm getting I don't know why I'm getting this blueberry pie, blueberries. I don't know.
So that one I don't know either.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, it's late in the day right now, so I'm not at
For
my
sure,
desk.
for
But
sure.
there's
But it also
definitely
comes down to this too: is how well do you know your relatives, right, and their
it.
history,
It
which is also
often
really
comes.
important too,
Yes,
right?
Trevor.
So,
Yes, definitely.
and I mean, I have a guess on which uncle it could be, but aside from certain things, I didn't know a lot about any of them. They
And
weren't
this is
super super
Yeah,
close.
this is the
So,
case with
and
a
so
lot
that's
of
hard.
people. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Is there a Bob in your family? Bob,
No,
are you sure?
pretty sure.
Okay, think about that. I'm getting a
I
Bob.
definitely don't have an Uncle Bob
Okay, it may not be an uncle.
or Robert.
Yeah, it's Robert or Bob. Yeah, it may not be your uncle, but somebody is saying that word to me. So it may have been somebody that one of your uncles is close to. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm tired. But
So
just
it's okay.
think
Like I
about
said,
that.
I mean, yeah, I'm going through family member names and names that I might have heard and maybe but yeah, like I said, as far as like a lot of their let's see so one of my uncles was born. I mean, he passed away at like, how old was he? 93,
Oh,
and so I really didn't know them real well.
mm-hmm.
But his later years is when I got to know him a little
Yeah,
bit more.
yeah.
So then I had other uncles that passed when they were pretty young. But so
This one sounds like he was younger and he's referring to somebody named Bob. So I'm not saying it was an uncle's name.
right,
He's
he just
saying,
needs somebody named Bob.
yes, exactly.
So
You never know.
yeah,
Well,
I
you
don't
you
never
know,
know.
know.
I find this so interesting because, I mean, I've worked with a lot of psychics in the past, and the way that they work and the things that they do and how they do them really makes a lot of sense given their background. So, for example, if you're dealing with a psychic who's more of an artist or a photographer who like to do
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, they're going to visualize, right? Now, I
Mm-hmm.
find it interesting, like Zsuzsana, you were a writer, so it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
surprise me that it would be more sort of like words and
Words. Yeah.
concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that really does make a lot of sense. And honestly, I don't think that I've ever met a psychic who really lived that truth. Like I've known Zsuzsana forever, and she
Mm-hmm.
lives a psychic life. Like it's like, some psychics, they're psychic, right? And they do their psychic mediumship, they do whatever, but then they kind of leave that world and they go back into like the world of the living and the concrete. Zsuzsana, and this is not anything terrible or anything, you live that psychic life always.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Thank you for
It
saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to go back into the real brick and mortar mundane world too, on and off. But you, Lynda, you know too, and Cathryn, I'm sure you do, and I'm sure you all do. You just can't lose your connection with spirit. You can't.
So important.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what else you have to do in your day-to-day life, but once you know.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mhm.
Well, I'm just excited to know that I still got family that's hanging around. So because that's
You do. Somebody's hanging a fishing rod like right behind you, like over your head right now. So yeah,
yeah, I haven't been fishing since I was 14, so maybe they're telling me I had to get out and do some fishing. So
maybe. Well, we have to keep in touch. I'd be happy to do a little mediumship reading for you guys, off the cuff kind of thing. Um, yeah, I'd love to do that. And you know what? I think we could all talk for probably about 100 hours, right?
Always.
Such a
Always. Yeah.
connection here. Yeah, for sure. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
exactly. Yeah, just a weird off the cuff question before we go. Do you find that doing what you're doing now, because you've been doing it for a long time, and I found that I've been doing it for a long time, there's a lot of, I don't want to call us old school or anything like that, but the ones that have been doing this for a couple of decades, like, to be honest. And I don't know if you found that when, especially during, the whole pandemic and stuff like that, and there was a lot of these mediums or tarot readers or whatever the hell you want to, all of these ones on social platform. Did you find any, I'm not going to say, did it affect you in any way or anything like that, but did you find that people had a different expectation of you in some way because of that?
That's a really good question. Um,
Like, I remember watching one TikTok, just as an example, where this, you're going to laugh, where this one, with this one reader, how they do quick, like, they'll do quick, like, readings, to hold up a card or whatever. She held up the Three of Swords and said, "Oh, you're going to have the best, fantastic life, and it's all full of happiness, and this relationship is just the best thing that's ever happened to you." And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You, if you know, right? It's, what I mean? Like,
okay. So I know what you're saying. So yeah, I don't have a lot of patience for that kind of stuff. I really, really don't. There's two amazing tarot readers that I follow on YouTube. Like, really amazing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. The thing is with tarot, as you know too, it doesn't, just because somebody can tune in and give you a really good, like, amazing reading that hits on every touch point that's going on in your life, it doesn't change anything in your life.
No, doesn't change anything.
It doesn't change anything.
No.
Right.
It could. I got the lottery numbers finally.
Sorry? What?
I said it could if I got the lottery numbers finally, but
I don't think you'll find any psychic.
I don't think so either. Nobody ever gives them to me, and I figured if they knew, they would have played the lottery themselves. So
that's right.
Exactly.
We're not sharing those numbers, sweetie.
I'll share the winnings.
This is the age-old thing, about psychics. Oh my God, why aren't they all like billionaires? And if they know all the numbers and everything, no, it's not about that. Basically, the ones that I follow, and again, I can't. It's not an everyday thing. I can't handle it, but I'm just amazed at how well they can scope out a situation and describe it to you, what's going on. But that doesn't change. It doesn't fix things. It doesn't change things. It doesn't, it's a really, really good. Sometimes it's good for self-reflection and for insight, to consider things from a different viewpoint, or a better viewpoint, maybe, than you have.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fix your life.
No.
It doesn't fix your life. What I do like is messages from spirit, because that can really reassure you that there's something that this is beyond our 3D, right?
Exactly.
I love that. Tarot readings, like I said, I'm a reader too, but it can't. It's not going to fix your life.
No. You're
right. Lynda too. You can lay out as many cards as you want for somebody. Cathryn, all of us. Whatever. This is what is going on. That's what you don't know. This was what might happen, and everything. You can be 100% accurate. That's still not going to change anybody's.
No, I mean
reality.
If you, it's true. You can hand somebody a light bulb, but you really want to have to change the light bulb.
Yeah. They're the ones that need to screw it in.
Exactly. Or screw it up.
Yeah, true.
Well, I think of it also as more like, when my kids have problems or things like that, and I want to give them some guidance, or let them know that they're doing the right things, or things that they should change or whatever. These are our ancestors, and I still, look to, my dad for wisdom and, guidance and things like that. But again, it's like, it's up to me to implement that. Right.
Yes.
And so, or, to find out that, hey, maybe I need to change some things, or, hey, you keep doing what you're doing, things are going to get better. So again, I think, a lot of people would love to get things like the lottery numbers and, or hear their future, and things like that. But, I mean, it's not, I don't think really that's how it is. So I think it's much simpler than that. Where it's just those personal connections that you once had are continuing in another form, and but they are able to still give you that reassurance and that guidance that maybe you just need in that moment.
Yeah, the reassurance and the guidance. I totally agree with that. It's just knowing that there's more, and it's almost like what you were saying too about your dad. I mean, my dad is long gone, unfortunately, but when you get words of wisdom from a parent or from anybody, you take that to heart, and you can make new concepts and new decisions and everything. You hold that within you. So that's what I mean. Tarot can do that for you too. Absolutely. And that's what it should do, I think, for somebody who's open to it. But mediumship for sure, and even earthly guidance from people is so important. It just can trigger something in your head, or even deep seated, and you go forward with that. So yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Zsuzsana.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure to meet you, and to have you on the show. I hope we can have you back again
I'd love
sometime.
to come back. Thank you.
Yeah, it would be wonderful to have you back on. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We hope you're going to be here with us next week. We will be here.
Okay. I'll be watching.
And thanks, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so